Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the top e-commerce brands of 2020 and 2021. We're going to be doing a step-by-step case study, and I'm going to be breaking down through my own analysis, through my own thoughts, having been in e-commerce for the past several years, having made millions of dollars online in e-commerce, sold millions of dollars online of products, and also just every single day growing my own e-commerce brand. I will be sharing with you my thoughts and also my step-by-step case study of all the top e-commerce brands of this year and last year. So super excited about this video today. If you have been wanting to start a successful e-commerce brand, if you have been, in the trenches doing product research, you've just been trying to find a product to start, maybe, you haven't even gotten that far yet, maybe you just have been wanting to start a successful online business, then this video will be incredibly helpful for you because I'm going to be pulling back the curtain on just some amazing examples of the most successful brands that you can actually start, because you'll see that the people that started these brands, they were actually no different from you or me. When they started out, they had pretty much no experience with e-commerce, no experience with entrepreneurship, and they realized that right now is actually the absolute best time to start an e-commerce business. Right now is the absolute best time to get into entrepreneurship. And so they just went all in, they committed to it. And so super happy to be making this video for you guys today. Let's go ahead and get started with the case study. All right, so the first brand I want to talk about is called Manscaped. And I actually really like this brand. They did an amazing job with their marketing, with their branding, and it's an amazing example for everybody who is looking to start a successful e-commerce business. Like, this is the way that you should brand your products. Right now we're on their website, and I'm not only going to show you their products and things like that, like the obvious stuff. We're really going to go behind the scenes. We're going to look at their ads. We're going to see how they've actually kind of like structured their ads, and we are really just going to try to reverse engineer the brand, how they started, how they grew, if they used influencers, what they're doing on their various social media platforms. And we're going to do that for every single brand that we're looking at today. So if we look at their products here, right now I actually pulled up their best-selling products. This is a classic trick in the book. What you do is you just do like manscaped.com/collection/all ? And then sort_by equals best selling. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It worked, much more with most Shopify stores, probably like in the early e-commerce days, I would say like a year or 2 years ago. And I mean, we are still in the early e-commerce days, obviously. Like, it's still right now the best time to actually start an e-commerce brand. But I mean, when I was starting out, this was a classic trick where you could just kind of see their best-selling products. So I did that, and it's just kind of pulled up the sets that they have. So I don't think it really worked for this site, but just so you know, this is a great trick. You can just add this part to the end of any domain name, any site that you're looking at, and you can actually see what their best-selling products are. It's going to sort their best-selling products from highest sales to lowest sales. You'll find that on some websites, they actually disable this collection/all sort by best selling. It's pretty funny. I'm going to paste this below in the description just so you guys can just easily copy paste it. But you'll find that some websites, they'll disable it and they'll usually put something funny like a GIF or something like that. But yeah, so if we look here, right, so they're selling sets, tools, and then we got like formulations and lifestyle. But their main product is like this, obviously like a ball trimmer, right, for men, like the lawnmower here, body hair trimmer, and then you've got like ball deodorant, ball spray toner. So all these products for men and men's genital areas, shall I say. So there you go. That's what they did. They created like a performance package here. They've got the perfect package, and you can see the price point. You can see the price point is $119.99 for this set. And assuming that, this is a very high sold item, I'm assuming that it is on their site, like their profit margin on this is very high. And the way that they can actually have such a high profit margin is due to the fact that it's honestly the branding. If you can brand your e-commerce store well, and by branding, I mean like the logo, what the brand stands for. If you look at their cause here, our cause, you can see here, it says, "We save balls." And so they're actually in partnership with the Testicular Cancer Society. And so, they've actually linked their mission statement with more of a, philanthropic kind of like cause. You can see here at Manscaped, we save balls. 1 man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer. So I'm assuming that they're giving a portion of their profits to the Testicular Cancer Society, to help with research for that. They even have an app, right? You don't need to have an app when you're starting out. This is something that a very established brand has. And, with manscaped.com, if we actually think about the revenue, like if we kind of try to estimate how much money these guys or girls, I'm not sure who runs it, but these people make, with Shopify, it's actually a little bit difficult. It's almost next to impossible to actually fully estimate how much money Shopify Shopify stores make, just because it's not like Amazon. On Amazon, we can just pull up Jungle Scout, which is the best tool for Amazon for product research and things like that. And you can literally pull it up on any product and you can see how much the products are making. And on Shopify, the only thing we can actually see is the Alexa site rank. This is actually a free Chrome extension that you can get on the Chrome App Store. And it's kind of useful because it will basically tell you whether a store is making any kind of money or not. So literally it's just like, two possible things that it might tell you. Either the store is making money and is doing well, or the store is not making any money. So we can see here that the Alexa site rank is 15,387. And that means that this site here is ranked 15,387th in the world in terms of traffic, meaning like visitors to the site. And we can assume, with a typical conversion rate of, let's just say they have a conversion rate of anywhere between 2 and 5%. On Shopify, like a decent conversion rate is 3% or above, I would say. So, if they have anything like that, well, then they're making a tremendous amount of money. This is definitely a brand that I would say 100% is worth above $10 million in valuation, maybe even 30, 40, 50 million, maybe even 100 million. So I actually just Googled it, and from an article back in October of 2020, we can see here that one of the people familiar with the matter said the company could fetch a valuation of more than $700 million, and the company is generating about $100 million in annual sales. So that is insane. That just shows you how much potential there is with e-commerce. And you have to understand that the way that it looks today is nowhere close to the way that it looked when it just started. And we can actually go back in time using something called the Wayback Machine, which is a tool online that allows us to go back in time, and it kind of saves an archive of all the pages, online from before. So let's take a look. So now we're on the site, and if we type in manscaped.com, we'll just copy and paste it in here. All right, we'll click Browse History. So what this will do is it will load a history on a timeline going back several years, and it will show us, exactly how the website looked at various stages in its growth. So there you go, it just loaded up, and we can see here that the first iteration of the website is all the way back in 2011. I'm assuming that wasn't even, the website that we see today. It probably was a completely different thing. So if we look at that, okay, it says, it's not working. So apparently that didn't even exist back then. So it's probably just a placeholder. Let's take a look at 2016 here. Okay, and we'll do like March 13th. And let's see how it looked. So this was 4 years ago, almost. All right, so we can see here, website coming soon. So it wasn't available in 2016. So 18 really looks like when they started, having some content up on the site. So if you click on July the 2nd, 2018, we can see here that it looks like they actually have something up on the website. So actually only in the past 2 years. That means that only in the past 2 years, they've been able to grow the company to a valuation of over $700 million, which is just incredible. All right, so here you go. This is what the website looked like, back in 2018. And it looks very, very, very simple, a very simplistic Shopify store. And you can see here that this is literally like using a very basic, probably a default theme even on Shopify. Shopify has a lot of various default themes. So, you can see here, they got the product page. Let's see if we can actually click on a product. Okay, we can't. But look, you can literally see the evolution. Like, this didn't look that crazy. And of course, it still looked good, right? But compared to what it looks like today, I mean, it looked much worse back then. So my point is that don't worry about making your website look like a $700 million brand. It really does not have to. Success comes down to really cause and effect over time and continued effort over time. And, all you have to do is really just start on your path. And you'll see that, yes, when you're starting out, you won't see, the turn at every single kind of like corner of the road. You won't see, where what you'll have to do and the decisions you'll have to make, in 3 months and 6 months. You likely won't even see, what you're gonna have to do next month, right? But the most important thing, and this is what really stops most people from pursuing entrepreneurship and even starting with e-commerce and with really anything, is the most important thing that you should just start. Take action, and eventually you'll find a way. And before you know it, you'll have a brand worth literally $700 million plus, which is just truly, truly incredible. Shows the potential of e-commerce. All right, so now let's take a look at some of the ads that they've been running. So right now I have the Facebook ad library open, and Facebook actually shows all the ads that are running on the platform at this moment, that are active. Even inactive ads, it would show. All you have to do is go to facebook.com/ad/library. I'm going to post the link in the description below. And when you're on there, just make sure that you select either all or United States. Make sure that it's not selected automatically to your country if you are not from the US, because likely most e-commerce brands, they're mostly running ads in the US or the big four, what you call the big four, so the US, Canada, Australia, and the UK. So let's type in Manscaped, and we'll take a look. We'll find their page. Usually you'll find a bunch. All right, there you go, Manscaped. Okay, so no ads, it's saying. Let's see if they're doing all. Okay, so it looks like they're not. There you go. You got to make sure you click on all ads because Facebook really separates, all ads between ads and then issues, elections, or politics. So let's just do that. Okay, so you can see when they started running the ad. You can see here that, these ads, they started running like yesterday. But probably not, likely they haven't started running these specific ads yesterday. Likely these are just new campaigns that they created in the ads manager on Facebook. And these ads, like what you're doing when you're optimizing ads, because I do it all the time. You're closing campaigns, you're starting new campaigns, you're duplicating campaigns. So they've probably just, duplicated a new campaign targeting a new audience. And that's why it shows. So these are some picture ads. And then we've got some videos. So here, let's see this one here. 15-second ad. Very quick, and it says a new year calls for a fresh start with a perfect package 3.0 grooming kit. So they're actually selling, and you can see here that they're actually marketing towards Europe here, eu.manscaped.com, and then UK. So they've got different country codes in the subdomain. This is the subdomain. You don't have to worry about that when you're starting out. You can just bring everybody to your main product page. So as you can see here, let's take a look at this one. See why Manscaped is trusted by over 1 million men and professional athletes. Right, I have no sound right now, but you can see a very professional ad, very original. You don't have to have, like when you're starting out with a brand, when you're looking at a brand this big and this, with such a high valuation, you don't have to just mimic what they do, and you don't have to aim for that level of caliber of ads. What you can do instead is just take like inspiration in the form of ideas and how they're kind of marketing the product, and just, use that for your own purposes in your own ads. Your ads don't have to be professional. The best way that I recommend creating ads is, if you have any kind of basic video editing skills, you can film the ads yourself. You can find a friend to do it with you. If the friend looks like they're in the target market, that's very important. You're not going to have like, let's say if the brand is super girly, let's say if the brand is like a beauty brand and the target market is mainly women, it's not a good idea to have a man, in the ad as the model. Obviously, it's better to have a woman. So you can see here, very established brand. You can, see all their ads here. Facebook ads library, super useful tool. Highly recommend it. So now let's break down the story of Manscaped. And I actually did my research, and the founder of Manscaped, his name is Paul Tran. He's also the CEO, and it actually was created and founded in 2017, along with Steve King, who is a big partner. Their yearly revenue is about $100 million, and that was estimated in October of 2020. Their mission is to create an open and empowered male culture that results in more proactivity around self-care and health, and to raise awareness of testicular cancer. So as you can see, they've got a very strong brand mission, and I really stress the importance of a brand mission, because when you're creating a new e-commerce brand, it's important to stand for something. You don't want to just sell random products online. With all of my videos on my YouTube channel, maybe you've seen them, maybe you haven't had the chance to yet, but I always emphasize since day one the brand approach. You always want to create a brand, and a super important part of that is to have a brand that stands for something. So let's say if you're selling, and I always use this example, if you're selling barbecue gloves, well, you want to have a mission. Maybe it's to show to the world the beauty of luxury barbecuing, or the beauty of barbecuing done right, or something like that, right? So the mission has to stand for something, and it has to be something that your target market really resonates with. Now, if you look at the story of Manscaped, the founder, Paul Tran, who's also the CEO, he was always fascinated with the idea of entrepreneurship, and he actually trained himself to see gaps in the market. And he noticed that female bodies have brands to fill every single need, but in terms of male brands, like male hygiene goods, far and few in between. And so that's why he kind of thought of this idea, and he realized that, wow, there was nothing like this for men. There was nothing like this that, basically like personal hygiene for men. Yeah, maybe there were some trimmers, but as you can see on the Manscaped website, I mean, it was just, they offer everything, right? Like straight up like body wash, anti-chafing, ball deodorant, ball spray toner, right? Like this is over the top. Obviously it works, right? There's nothing wrong with being over the top. They got ball wipes, right? So really great stuff. And Paul Tran was originally focused on 100% on optimizing quality. He actually appeared on Shark Tank in late 2018, and he got an investment from Mark Cuban. And later on, the company partnered up with the Testicular Cancer Society to raise awareness about the most common form of cancer that affects men between the ages of 13 and 35. So there you go. That's an example of a truly amazing brand, and especially for those people who are creating brands that are aimed mostly at men as the target market, Manscaped presents an incredible example of e-commerce done right. Now, a brand the size of Manscaped, obviously, they basically have multiple customer acquisition sources, right? And what I mean by that, it's just a fancy way of saying they're running multiple types of ads. So Facebook ads, they've got YouTube ads, they're obviously running a lot of influencer marketing. Influencers are still super powerful and continue to remain powerful in the 2020s, and they're not going to go anywhere. If you look at their YouTube ads, this ad in particular here, it's a 1-minute ad, 57 seconds. They ran it on YouTube, how Gronk polishes his trophies. So as you can see, they literally they hired a football player, and they've found a very good looking model for the ad. And this ad in particular got 1.5 million views just in the last 2 weeks. So as you can see, it is very professional, and they have an incredibly expensive actor or actors on the ad. In the ad, they have Gronk. They paid him a lot of money to appear in the ad. You don't need to do this when you're starting out. This is just kind of an idea of what a brand that is worth, likely 500, 600, 700 million plus is doing at this stage, right? But I mean, that's more than most people would ever even want. Like, to achieve freedom, you don't need to have something that's going to be worth $700 million, right? Like, seriously, once you reach $10,000 a month in profit with your brand, you already have freedom. $10,000, I always call it the freedom number. All right, so the next brand I want to talk about is Gymshark, and everybody knows Gymshark. I myself am a huge fan of Gymshark. I love their clothes, and this one is really an incredible story. Gymshark was founded by Ben Francis in 2012, so it's actually been quite a few years since the founding of Gymshark. He was 19 years old when he started, so for all those people out there that are wondering whether they're too young to start, or whether it's too early to start a business, like if they should wait to get more experience, Ben Francis started at 19, right? So the earlier you start, the better. And I really am a true believer, a firm believer in the fact that the earlier you start in entrepreneurship, even if you're 25, 30, 40, right? The earlier you start, the better your life will be because of compound interest, right? Einstein said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. And, I've actually noticed that in my own life. I've realized that, it's so great that I started at 20, 21. Today, at the time of me recording this video, I'm 24, about to turn 25. And, the amount of progress I've made in my own life is massive. It's huge, right? So the earlier you start, the better. And Ben Francis, there's no better example than him. Today, Gymshark is actually worth $1.45 billion. Ben still owns 70% of the company. And Gymshark does about $200 million per year in revenue. So double the previous brand here, double Manscaped. Now, it is a little bit hard to relate to a brand like Gymshark because it is so massive. And a lot of people think, that was his destiny and it worked out for him. And how do I know that by looking at such a big brand, it's almost intimidating. I'm just a regular person. I just want to start an e-commerce brand, and I want to just achieve freedom. And look, the good news is that if you don't want to build a $1 billion e-commerce brand, because not everybody wants to. I myself want to. I want to be recognized as one of the greatest entrepreneurs of the 21st century, and definitely one of the greatest e-commerce entrepreneurs. So it's my craft. It's what I want to do. But not everybody wants to do that, and that's fine. With e-commerce, I was able to achieve freedom within the first 3 months of getting into it. So now we're on Gymshark's website, and as you can see, they're doing a campaign in support of Black History Month, which is great. And then if we go to, we can see here that they're offering products for women and men. So if we go to men here, click on all products, okay? So they're selling all kinds of different, clothing for people who are fit, people who are wanting to get fit, people who are going to the gym and, they want something comfortable to wear, and they also want something that looks good. I've actually myself purchased a lot of Gymshark clothing. So if we go back to Ben Francis's story, before Gymshark, Ben was actually just making a lot of different websites. And then after the websites, that was like his first entrepreneurial venture. After that, he decided to start making fitness apps. And he actually created the 2 top fitness apps in the UK at the time. Then after that, he made a fitness social network that had several thousand members. So he actually, started really early. Before even becoming the founder of Gymshark at 19 years old, he was actually already in business. It seems like during the years before that. So he really started early. And again, that shows just how important it is to really start early in entrepreneurship. And it shows that anybody can start a successful business and really grow it into something like a $1.45 billion business like Gymshark is today. And so after the fitness social network that reached several thousand members, he actually started Gymshark. And what his daily life was he was attending university, and he was actually delivering pizzas. On the side, he was working out just to keep fit, and then he was working on Gymshark after hours, just in all the time that he had in between. And Gymshark actually started off as a supplement company. So he just started off just by, selling various kinds of supplements. I'm assuming it was protein powder and, that type of stuff, just like the typical supplements that you would see I don't know exactly what they started with, but what happened was that they couldn't afford stock because they had no money. So they decided to drop ship supplements to get their first funding, to get their first startup capital. And so it actually took them 2 months to get their first sale. And dropshipping, it's a term that a lot of people the world over know about now. And basically, it's cool to see that he actually got started with dropshipping because he didn't have a lot of startup capital. And so what dropshipping is essentially, just in one sentence, is basically you don't hold any inventory and you just make your website and you start selling products that you don't actually have. So you get the customer's money, you send the money to your supplier, and your supplier directly ships the product to your customer, and it goes directly from the supplier's factory or warehouse, right? So that's what dropshipping is, and it's a great way to get started with e-commerce. I actually have a ton of amazing dropshipping content on my YouTube channel, and my strategy is called branded dropshipping. I actually, created this revolutionary strategy that I personally used to grow several brands to millions of dollars in sales. And what it involves is you're dropshipping for the first few weeks, for the first few months, until you really prove concept, just to make your first startup capital. And then at that point, that's when you start to really order in bulk, create custom orders and things like that. So I've got an amazing 2.5-hour video on my channel. It's a complete Shopify tutorial. I'm always making more content. Thousands of people have been able to build successful e-commerce businesses just from my free content on my channel the past few years. So, it can fully be you, nothing's stopping you. But check that out later. Let's keep going with the case study. So he actually started off as a supplements company, dropship at the beginning. And what happened was that since it took him 2 months to reach his first sale, he actually decided to switch over to fitness apparel. And instead of actually just finding like a print-on-demand company, because at the time, I'm assuming in 2012, it was much harder to source apparel, Ben actually decided to make the clothing himself. So Ben and his friends just basically sewed and screen printed all of their first designs and their first pieces of clothing, and everything was custom made. So they actually put in the hours, they put in the manual labor, and they just had to do that to really start. Nowadays, you don't even have to do that. Like nowadays, there are so many companies like Printful that will just basically, they're called print-on-demand companies. Like if you want to start a fitness brand, it's so much easier because there are all these companies that are willing to custom design shirts for you. You just upload your design, either you design it or you get a graphic designer to do it for you, right? It's just so much easier nowadays. That's why I always say there has never been a better time to start an online business than now. And so Ben actually, he started sewing and custom designing his clothing. Then he started doing expos worldwide, and he actually got into women's apparel because he saw that selling women's apparel and combining that with influencer marketing, which he was one of the earliest people to do, that really presented a massive business opportunity. And so basically that's what he did, and it just absolutely blew up. Gymshark was the first real fitness brand, or an example of a fitness brand that leveraged influencers to blow up their brand. Now, fast forward to today, the brand is worth over $1.45 billion. They recently partnered up with a company called General Atlantic, which helps brands or growth companies, as they call it. You just grow their brands and grow their businesses. And now General Atlantic owns 21% of the brand, which is a pretty high percentage, considering the fact that Ben owned 100% or nearly 100% of the equity of the brand. And now he owns just above 70 or about 70% because he had to give away 21% to General Atlantic. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, I think that he's a very talented entrepreneur and he is going to absolutely kill it. I have no doubt because, he's had this much success up until now, right? So Gymshark, an amazing example of just a truly incredible brand. They even have a lifting gym today, which is amazing. That just shows you, they really stand for the brand mission and vision. And, also it's an example of someone who decided to follow their passion and combine it with business, with e-commerce, with an opportunity that was right there and was screaming, the money is here. The money is here. With e-commerce, with the opportunity, it's like the money is here. So all you have to do is take action, follow your gut, and there's nobody stopping you from becoming the next Ben Francis. Now, if you look at their customer acquisition, so like I said, they actually first started off with building a massive influencer community and just leveraging influencers. You always saw those influencers giving shout outs on their Instagram, promoting the apparel and just, obviously trying on the products and advertising it to their following. Now, Gymshark also runs Instagram ads as well as YouTube ads. If we pull up their Facebook ads library, as you can see, you can see all of their ads here. That's what's an amazing feature of the Facebook ads library. You can literally see all the ads that they're running. So they're doing some ads for Black History Month, which is awesome. They're running a campaign there that they're connecting to, like their customers really well. And then if we keep going down here, we can see Gymshark made me a speed suit, right? So this is amazing inspiration. Like if anybody is looking to start a fashion brand or something to do with, fitness, this is a gold mine of just ad headlines and, examples of amazing ads to kind of look at just to get inspiration for your own brand. Now, the next brand I want to talk about is a newer brand, and this one's called Glamnetic. And the founder of this brand, her name is Anne McFerrin, and she has truly created an amazing business and an amazing brand. Let's go on the website, check it out. So now we're on the website. As you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. It's an incredibly designed website. It's actually not super easy to build a website like this. And a lot of people, when they're starting with Shopify, they really struggle. And I don't blame you. Like, it's not easy to build a nice website. And so that's why, you can always hire outside help. You can always hire somebody to help you with your website, whether that's on freelancing websites, for example, like Upwork. It's always a good idea, just because, you have to kind of at a certain point assume that, okay, like I just can't, as an entrepreneur, I'm good at what I'm good at, right? We all have our strengths, but I can't do everything. And that's where it's a good idea to actually hire some external help to help you with that. The good news is you don't have to become a professional at everything, right? The good news is that just focus on what you're good at, focus on getting the business moving, focus on the entrepreneur side of things, and then let the professionals do the rest. Obviously, considering how much your startup capital allows you to invest in, right? But I always like the lean approach. So just always try to keep it lean when you're starting out. So what Glamnetic does is they actually sell magnetic eyelashes. And we can see here, if you go to shop all, we can see they got all these different kinds of magnetic lashes, vegan, mink, colorful. This brand currently averages about 7 figures a month in sales. So that's 1 million plus a month in sales. I don't know exactly how much, but obviously they're doing absolutely great. If we go to their best selling here, we can see all the different eyelashes that they're selling. We can see how they're selling like liners and things like that. If we take a look at their About Us page, you can actually see how they started. This is the founder, Anne McFerrin. I actually recognize Anne because Anne was one of my students in our Ecom Freedom course. At the time, it was called Amazon Freedom. So she actually joined in 2017. And I recognized when I saw this brand, because I haven't really spoken to her in a long time, when I saw this, I recognized her face and I was like, wow, this is amazing, right? So in 2017, she was a part of, today it was called the Ecom Freedom course. At the time, was called Amazon Freedom. That was before our rebranding. And she actually was learning how to start a successful Amazon business. I'm assuming what happened was that probably she tried Amazon, and then down the line, she found out that her true passion is beauty and beauty type products. And that's amazing. She like literally walked through her own door. And I think she probably had some help to start this business in terms of like the website and stuff like that. I think she might have partnered up with somebody. I was taking a look at her social media, but massive respect to Anne McFerrin and where she has come. And as you can see, Glamnetic is a true story of the American dream. It's honestly amazing. She, I guess, was at UCLA while she was doing this. If we take a look at her story here, as an Asian in a predominantly white neighborhood, she actually felt self-conscious about short eyelashes, so she always used fake ones. And originally on her path, which was basically to complete pre-med at UCLA, she took a break to pursue art because that was her passion. And so she started selling art all over the world. She had art shows, but at a certain point, she stopped feeling challenged. And that's when she really felt the push to start something in entrepreneurship, start a business, and she fell upon e-commerce. And then in terms of the Glamnetic story, it actually took months for her to find the right supplier. She went in with zero knowledge about how to do any of this, and she just basically used YouTube and Google. That's how I assume she found out about my videos when she started out. Maybe she, I'm assuming she did this after she joined the Amazon Freedom course in 2017, because she started this in 2019. So she just got information from YouTube, from Google, which is amazing. It's the best way to get info, honestly, because you get it directly from people who are in the trenches like myself in e-commerce, and they made their whole life about e-commerce. And so she's actually started the brand with 5 magnetic lashes. Now there's 6. And she differentiated the brand by having different colored magnetic liner. And about 5 or 6 months in, she hired her first employee, and now they have a team of 16. And for the future, her goal is to build Glamnetic into an all-around beauty brand and not just lashes. And we see that, it's typical with a lot of e-commerce brands that start out with one product. And I've always been a massive advocate of one product stores and branded stores. Nobody believed me. A lot of people in 2018, when I started making Shopify videos, they're like, no, general stores are where it's at. No way. It's a short-term way of doing business. That's why I started making videos on Shopify, because I saw that and I was frustrated. I'm like, this is not the way of doing it. And for me, it wasn't working to do general stores. For me, what was working was to create branded stores. In terms of customer acquisition, Glamnetic actually used influencers very heavily, and they also ran social media ads as well as Google ads, and they did some SEO with like articles and things like that. Here's their Facebook ads library, as you can see. So you can see all their ads. Right here, we've got an ad, and this ad is, I'm assuming, a retargeting ad. Basically, what a retargeting ad is it's targeting people who have already visited the website. And this ad, like I've used this type of ad a lot, where you're basically targeting a person who has visited your site who hasn't bought, and you're trying to get them to actually purchase the product by offering them a coupon code or some kind of a discount, right? So you can see here, and it's actually her in the actual ad, which is great. Like, it's awesome that she is also the face of the business, because she is the target market, right? Like, it's very obvious to me that a lot of the buyers of Glamnetic are just like Anne. And so that's another reason why for Anne, it was part of her destiny almost to succeed with Glamnetic, because she started a brand she's passionate about, and she started something that aligned with her own door. I always talk about this. You want to walk through your own door. It's like, you know, if you're a guy, if you're a man, like a 45-year-old man, you've never had a baby or a child, it's going to be quite difficult to start a brand that sells baby products, right? Unless you have someone very close in your life that has a baby. So that's something to think about as well. Now, I briefly want to talk about sourcing these products, right? So where did all of these people source their products from? And honestly, the biggest website that most people source their products from online is Alibaba.com. You probably are familiar with Alibaba. If not, it is the number one website in the world in terms of e-commerce and finding e-commerce suppliers. And it's the best website to find suppliers in China. Now, as someone who is starting out with e-commerce, you don't absolutely have to source from China. It is usually the best route to take for most products. You can also source from anywhere in the world, really. But as a rule of thumb, if you want to find suppliers in China, Alibaba is the best. If you want to find suppliers anywhere else, Google is the best. Literally Google. You go on Google and you type in, private label magnetic lashes, just like that. There you go. And then basically you can find, different suppliers of private label magnetic lashes. And then you can see here that Alibaba actually shows up for that. And you can actually find any product that you could even dream of sourcing on Alibaba. Just when you're searching for, make sure to select trade assurance and verified supplier. So you can do that for Manscaped's products. You can do it for Glamnetic. You can do it for, Gymshark is a little bit different, because Gymshark is more of a fashion brand, and you don't absolutely have to source fashion items from China. China is great for products like magnetic lashes and anything that's not super complex or fashion, because for fashion you might find a better deal with a print-on-demand website like Printful or something like that. So those were the top e-commerce brands of 2020 and 2021. Now, if you've been wanting to start a successful e-commerce brand, if you've been wanting to learn every single step that you need to actually build a successful business, there are so many people out there on YouTube, on the internet, online, on TikTok, on social media, on Instagram, who always talk about how to make money online, how to start an online business. And if I was starting today, honestly, I would be so overwhelmed. I would just be like, who do I listen to? What's the right information? Where do I even start? We actually released a 7-day free trial of our Ecom Freedom Amazon FBA program. Our program, it's been running for the past 3.5 years. Basically, it's my company, Ecom Freedom. We've helped thousands of people start successful online businesses with Amazon and Shopify, which is, entirely the point of this video, where I showed you examples of extremely successful brands. And we're helping students build brands just like that, through Ecom Freedom and through the Ecom Freedom Amazon FBA program and the Shopify Freedom program. I myself am personally, building my own brand. And then we also have several million-dollar sellers. So right now, you can actually learn every single step you need to build a successful Amazon FBA business. You'll also get $1 million mentorship. This is something that really separates us from everybody else, where you get mentorship from an actual $1 million seller in the Amazon course, Scott Suggs. He's our head of Amazon. And then, of course, from me as well. On Facebook, you get from Scott, and then with weekly and bi-weekly live calls with him and myself, where you're actually able to one-on-one talk to us and get that ongoing support that you need. So the link for that is down below. 7-day free trial, no obligation. You can just sign up. You don't like it, cancel anytime. What better way is there to show you that we are the best than by offering you to trial out the program for free? It is definitely the absolute number one best investment that you can make in achieving e-commerce success and then really making this work for you. And then there's also a link down there for the Shopify Freedom program. There is no free trial for that. That's just $497, and that's actually going to be going up to $997, because we want the course to be at $1,000, because right now they're kind of at different prices. So we want them both to be the same. So that's going to be going up to $997. The link for that is down below as well. If you don't know which one to start, maybe in this video, you kind of looked at all these examples of different brands. You saw that there's examples of Amazon and Shopify success, and you still don't know which one to start. I actually have an amazing podcast on the Dan Vass Show. I've been doing that. I love doing podcasts. It's amazing. I've been getting so much support, so many DMs from people telling me how much they love my podcast and how much they love tuning in, in the morning, in the evening, when they're driving and things like that. So there's going to be a link down below for the Dan Vass Show. Make sure to check that out and subscribe. I actually just released an episode on the topic of Amazon versus Shopify. So if you're unsure, just go ahead and listen to that, and then you'll be able to come out of that clear-headed, clear-minded. You'll know know exactly which one to start. You can also reach out to me on Instagram at Dan Vass. Just add me on there. It's the best way to reach me. I actually answer DMs. I actually read all my DMs, as opposed to, I guess, other YouTubers. It's the best way for me to reach out to my audience. So at Dan Vass on Instagram, just add me on there. Send me a DM if you have any questions at all about life, entrepreneurship, e-commerce. If you just need any kind of advice, if you have any questions, if you need some kind of life guidance, I always love giving that. So just send me a DM on there. You can also email me, danv@ecomfreedom.com. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this. Thank you so much. I always bring you out the absolute best freedom and entrepreneurship content. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.